Yeah, welcome everyone. Welcome everyone. It is good to have you here. So what's up? Banger music? Thank you. Okay, boom. And the music is off. Welcome everyone. Thanks for popping in. Welcome. I was slightly delayed compared to the start of the live stream, like the time I set in YouTube Studio. And the reason for that is that I last minute had to do something. So I was a little bit, or at least like, let's say we're about 10 minutes late. Love the music, becoming nostalgic. I know, like we used this music for how many live streams? I think we used this introduction song for over 400 live streams now. I'm actually checking it as we speak. So looking at the statistics of the YouTube channel, I think it's over 400 live streams. I'll check. Okay, so in total, I have gone live 470 times. So, okay, we can imagine that at the beginning I didn't have that song just yet. I'm actually not sure. I should go to the first live stream I ever did. But it's definitely over 400 live streams that I had that song. So, yo, Big Shot, how you doing? I will reply, by the way, Big Shot, to your comments in the Hexaplan Discord. Just so you know, I've seen them, but I have to still reply to the comments you had there, the things you wrote about your strategy. Welcome everyone. There we go. Mascara, put on mascara. Welcome. Stella, John, how you doing? Good morning. At least for you, it's good morning. Here it is a very warm afternoon, 3 p.m., 30 minutes before New York opens. So it's interesting to go live around this time and see what happens when the market opens. But yo, John, hope you're doing good on the west coast of America. Hopefully you have some nice weather yourself as well. Legendario, welcome. Thank you, by the way, Legendario, for quickly writing it here as well. Appreciate it. Jeroen, what's up? I thought you missed it. Yeah, no problem. No. I didn't miss it. I actually saw it yesterday already, but then I you know, like you read it and then you don't reply instantly and then you kind of forget about it, you know, and then the next morning you're like, oh, wait, maybe you recognize it. Okay, so in this live stream, we will analyze Bitcoin and maybe we can analyze some other stuff as well later, because honestly, Bitcoin is incredibly slow and nothing changed. So my previous video, right, the previous video that I uploaded 2 days ago, like analysis video, price was, where was price? So July 10, I'm not sure actually exactly. So I uploaded a video and then we had the weekend. Oh no, I don't know exactly even when. I uploaded the video somewhere here, no, like somewhere over here. And mate, I really don't know. Let me check my own content. I'm so clueless. So my last video, 8th of July. Okay, wait. So the last video was uploaded here. It was the video before that was here. So in the video that I uploaded here, we were looking for a retracement. The video that I uploaded here, we were looking for price to move to 64.8K. I'm looking at the thumbnails, because the thumbnails that we put on the videos and the content is always what we are primarily looking for, right? So that is, so there's no like funny clickbait or stuff. It's literally basically the probabilities on the thumbnail. So as per the previous video, yes, the probabilities were highest to eventually take out the high at 64.7K. Some charts it might be 8K. I think we actually wrote 8K on the thumbnail. But this high, that's basically the goal. And there was always the potential of maybe larger corrective structures or just a three-wave and then move up. But the bias is set. And the bias is look for price to move up. So as price then moved to the downside here, and we got a bit of a retracement, this is very clearly a ABC to the downside. It's kind of like a perfect zigzag according to the book. So we have a wave A, we get a wave B, and then 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. Can't count this as an impulse or very low probabilities. Because you never really had a 4 and a 5 with a wave 4 this size comparable to your wave 2. So this range here as well, this final range before the low was shorter than the 382 Fibonacci time compared to 2, which basically means this range is 1/3 or a little bit like basically 1/3 in time of what this range is. And that's not what you like to see when you look for a wave 4, as wave 4 is usually equal in size or even longer, or minimum the 382, which it didn't reach. So not high probabilities. And then the moment price reversed, moved back into this low, you are confirming that this is not an impulse because wave 1 and 4 are not allowed to overlap. So that's an invalidation. Your only bearish scenario at the case is the multi-1-2, which I spoke about in the previous video as well. However, what lowered the probabilities already for a multi-1-2 is that your lower degree wave 1 is twice the size in time compared to your higher degree wave 1. And I can show this by grabbing the Fibonacci time from the start to the end of the higher degree 1 to the end of 2, and then toggle on the 2, and you can see that this low was made after the 2 Fib time. So it reduces probabilities of a multi-1-2 because your lower degree 1 is so long in time. And it's not an invalidation, but it doesn't help. Now, in the previous video, I explained that if a lower degree wave 2 is twice the size of a higher degree wave 2 and it creates another high after the 2 Fib time, very low probabilities, you are dealing with a multi-1-2. The moment this high was made, besides the fact lower degree 1 was already twice the size of lower degree or higher degree 1, so that already lowers probabilities. But if you wanted some extra confirmation that you cannot count a high probability bearish scenario here, then that was basically it, because you made another high after the 2 Fib time. So it increases probabilities. This is a 3, increasing probabilities to take the high. Now, it's very much possible to create larger corrective structure. That remains a possibility, like a flat ABC. It's not like written off. It's just that the bias, even after a larger corrective structure, remains moving up. Something can be finished here and already move up. Currently, we can't yet confirm this corrective. Price needs to move back into this range, basically, because there's the potential of 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, and just have a slow grinding structure to the upside till the end of the New York session, or maybe even tomorrow. I think in today's morning routine, which is a video I upload every early morning, I spoke about the morning or noon of Saturday, that if we're working on 4-5s, it might finish early mid-Saturday, and then create a high and then have a bit of a drop to create a bit of a like sideways-ish weekend. So, which is common. The weekend is coming as well. And what bears want to see is price to move down without making all the 4-5s. So we will see. But yeah, this high is basically your target, your minimum, your well, that's the bias. The bias is taking out the high. So I do have a couple of scenarios on my chart in the folders here on the right, but they're actually the same as the ones that you saw in the previous video. So we can go through this very quick, but this is your unfinished impulse where you do look for price to move up a bit more. Ideally, wave 5 finishes. I mean, if we base this on time, if this is a multi-1-2 here, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, then based on the size of the multi-1-2, this wave 5, if one looks for the 4-5s here, would then end very likely on Saturday. And then after 5, you would expect a retracement. So, yeah, we'll have to wait and see how high 5 goes. And after 5, you get a retracement. Now, what's interesting here, though, is that if this wave 5 does not take out the high at 67.4K, which is still quite a stretch, especially if this is already 4-5s forming. I don't really expect it to go that high, but we'll see. If this creates a lower high, then the probabilities are higher to get a corrective move down and another leg up after. And the reason is that in this scenario, and the reason is that a running flat ABC is a rare structure. It's the rarest flat. More common would be expanding or regular flats compared to a running flat. So it would increase the probabilities to look for a corrective move down and then another leg up instead of a motive wave down and new lows. So something to be aware of. But then again, if price would move to the downside here, we just have to observe the structure. It makes no sense to long here if price would retrace without actually confirming this being corrective, because there's the risk of price always continuing. So we prefer to get a corrective move down confirmed, meaning you cannot count an impulse to the downside, you can't count a multi-1-2 to the downside, and diagonals are generally low probabilities, but you don't really want to be able to count a diagonal to the downside. So it's very similar to what I explained in the previous video with what I was doing here. Can we count an impulse down? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? No. 1, 4 overlap. Can we count a high probability multi-1-2 down? No. Another high after the 2 fib time. And that means that this has to be the first wave of a diagonal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very low probabilities until you actually get those 5 waves of a diagonal. And even if you get a diagonal, you still get a move up and a move down. So that is something to be aware of if price retraces here. We can keep an eye on those motive wave structures. Once they get invalidated, we look for price to move up. Longs become most interesting. So this is still on. And as long as price here is creating higher highs and higher lows, and it forms the 4-5s and takes out this high, it can be wave 5. Now you can see that this wave 4 is 5 times the size of 2. Sometimes that's the way it is. Time is non-invalidation. It maintained the structure with higher highs and higher lows. So it is a scenario we should keep in mind. The other option is a larger 2 or B. Here we're looking for a flat or a WXY or a running triangle, only in B, not in 2. So price here already reached flat targets. So wave A, wave B, wave C has to be a zigzag family movement, which means you want price to go down and not finish those wave 4s and wave 5s. And after a flat, guess what? You look for price to move up. So what is actually quite interesting, and you'll see that in the final scenario that I have here in a second as well, is if price creates a high here, right? Imagine it goes up a bit more. We take out this high and price moves up and eventually creates a high. If this move up is very tiny compared to what we have here, the probabilities are low initially that this is an A, B, and then a C, because your C is so small in price. The 0.61 or the, the 1.618 trend-based sub-extension taken from the start. Let's take the highest point here. And then the low here, and then we toggle on the 0.618 is 65.8. And the 65.8, 0.618 level is commonly a minimum target for a wave C, but not your common target. A common target is the 1 to the 1.236, which is much higher. 0.618 is generally a minimum target and would be regarded as more of a more rare target for a wave C. Right? Now, of course, your absolute minimum target for a wave C in a zigzag would be taking out the high of the A. So the moment that happens would be an ABC. But if we consider probabilities, and ideally a wave C being similar in size to wave A and actually just going up, so we actually want this to extend, right, and go higher and then only end later, that would be better if we want to count this as a potential corrective movement. No? But if price only manages to get up here and then starts retracing, the probabilities are actually higher in most scenarios to go back up. So here you would look for A, B, C, and then you go back up. In the previous case here, you would look for a wave 5, or 4s, 5s, 4, 5s. You go down, pop, 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 you go back up. And then in this scenario here, which is a sideways WXY in a 2B, where wave W just missed the 3A2, which is not ideal, as that's generally a minimum target. Here you're looking for also an impulse to the upside, and this can be a 1A, 2B, 3C. But if C is so tiny, we may have to consider that this leg up is not a wave C, but it could be another wave 1. For the bulls, that is. Which then leads to poof. So it's just something I'm aware of. It's still early days because we don't have that information. But if this doesn't really extend up similar to the first leg, we can imagine that we're going to see more upside at a later stage. Also, if this is motive, ideally you take out this high. If a wave 5, if this continues up and you take out this high, then what I said just now goes off the table, because the moment you take out that high here with an impulse potential of a wave 5, the thing is that now there is at least the potential of an ABC flat. Now I'm still not a fan of a flat, because for me this doesn't really look like a nice corrective movement. Like it looks a bit better like a 5-wave movement to the downside. It's a messy move, I would agree. But it looks a bit better as a 5 compared to it being corrective. Can't count a solid ABC here. And if this is a WXY, it has to be like ABC, that's your W. This is X and then Y. Or this is X and then wave Y. But in both cases, your wave Y is very short, or your wave X is very short, your wave X is very low. It's not a clear 3-wave structure, so it looks more motive to the downside. So if this is a 5 up, I generally expect 3 down and another 5 up at least for a zigzag. But then again, if this is A, this is B, and this is C, and C doesn't really extend and only goes here, well, it's not a great target for a C. So it would decrease probabilities that we have an ABC, increase probabilities for seeing a retracement, sure, but still looking for higher later. So it's just something I'm aware of. I'll keep an eye on it, but we'll see what the weekend brings. And then again, right, so it doesn't need to take out the high now. It could. It got very close, but we'll see if price retraces to 63.2. This is higher probabilities corrective initially. And we could have a larger corrective structure. Right? A flat is a possibility. Would be very nice, but we'll see if we get it. But even if you get a retracement to the downside for a flat and then go back up, the bias remains the same. You just get a better opportunity to buy. So it's interesting. Now this move to the upside, ideally, this is counted as a multi-1-2. Reason is that there's overlap here, this section. So there's overlap between this wick and these lows. And because of this, it's not nice to count this as a wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because there's 2-4 overlap. Now, 2-4 overlap is not an invalidation in Elliott waves, but there's a strong guideline against it. So it wouldn't be your primary option till basically proven otherwise. So that is why if price retraces here, back inside this range, the probabilities are low for an impulse initially and higher that this is corrective. Because when there's overlap like this, you would either move into diagonals or multi-1-2s, but a multi-1-2 has higher probabilities than a diagonal as per the theory. So you would prioritize a multi-1-2, 3, and then you get into the 4-5s, right? And with the 4-5s, you don't want to go back into the 1-2s. So if price goes back into the 1-2s, probabilities initially are higher, this is corrective, and we would expect a larger corrective movement here. Now, if price moves up and finishes the 4-5s, right, get a couple more, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, and then retraces, that's fine. So this is basically what's going on locally. This is the bearish multi-1-2, but I already explained this. And then with regards to levels of support and resistance, this is what I have going on locally at the moment. So price moved down into our range point of control area of support. Moved back up. I had some resistance here at 63.6, which, I mean, price immediately closed above. There was like no resistance. Volume was increasing. Quick spike. Not interesting. I had a daily here as well, but price already closed above the daily very quickly. Yeah, it's just been a nice move towards the upside here. And yeah, we're sitting at 64.2K. So this is really what's going on locally and what's going through my mind. Looking at this structure, it's been very slow. And the reason why I didn't provide a Bitcoin update yesterday, at least on YouTube, because in the membership area, I always type every day and I keep writing the whole day and what I see and think and whatnot. But it's just that the probabilities of the previous video haven't changed. The bias hasn't changed. Scenarios haven't changed. I explained in the video what I'm looking for locally. So the video basically had everything. And then yesterday I was like, well, you know what? I might as well make a summary basically of the 2-hour live stream that I did on the launch of Hexaplan last week on Wednesday. And instead of people needing to go through 2 hours of content on what I did in the live stream, I just made a 30-minute video that I posted yesterday on Hexaplan and creating plans and that sort of stuff. Because the chart, it's just everything was explained. And then today as well, I was like, yeah, am I gonna make a video, right? Like, is there really something to say that is worth a video? I was like, you know what? I prefer to go live and talk to you guys, answer some questions, because not much changed. So, yeah, this is currently what we're dealing with. So let me have a look here at the at some of the stuff you write in the meantime. Hopefully, we break above 67K in the coming 2 to 3 weeks. 67K, that is the high. We're still a couple of $1,000 away, so we'll take it, of course, step by step. So far, structure, of course, is bearish, lower highs, lower lows. There's still the potential that this is going to turn into another wave 4. So we'll wait and see. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you get another 4, another 5. Right, so tuck, 4, maybe another 5, creating a possibly lower high. Move down again, take out the low. So, I mean, I not too long ago I made a weekly time frame video where I said that on the weekly time frame it's currently quite unlikely something finished. Let me check this actually. Playlist. Ooh, did I actually put it in the high time frame folder? Wait a sec. Weekly, did we put it in the right folder? No, we didn't. 1 second, let me put it in the right folder here. Cycle and macro, let me put it in that one. So the weekly video I did is this one. No. No worries, Jeroen. No worries. It's just habit. It's habit. I know exactly how it goes, So the video I shared, weekly analysis. So the weekly, the link I just shared is the weekly video, 9 minutes in length. And basically, if we just jump to the conclusion, it's currently quite unlikely something finished at the low. Can we finish something at the low? Well, we always can. It's just like, it's not yet interesting. So if we want to finish something here, we would have to count WXY. But your wave Y is really large compared to W. Like the ratio between the two would be off. So if we take a fib time from the start to the end of W to the end of wave X, or well, let me actually do this differently because that's why we have it. So let me just take the WXY. Where is it? WXY. There we go. Not that one, this one. So then we have here, we have the W, we get the X, right? X target area here for your wave X, nicely respected. Cool, 382, perfect. But then here, look at the target for your wave Y, right? Look at the target for your wave Y. So commonly, your wave Y would be similar in size to W, time and price wise, right? So time ideally between the 618 and the 1.618, ideally in the green box price wise between the 1 and the 1.236. Now the 0.618 is reached, minimum target, okay, cool. But look at the time. A new low was made at a 4 fib time, which means that your wave Y is 4 times the size compared to your wave W, which is not really what you want to see. And if we just quickly do this here and just keep the 382 on as well. So the 382 on the chart. And here for the wave Y, we just minimize this. Oops, we need to get that on. So we'll keep the box. Pop, pop. So you're clearly in the red area, right? This is not ideal. It's not what you like to see. Now, time is never an invalidation, but it's not high probabilities. We're looking at a WXY to the downside. So with that in mind, it makes more sense that something is not yet finished, because a WXY down, not great. I've seen here and there, I've seen like WXY that's very rare. WXY XZ creates the same issue because your wave Y is still very long compared to your W. You could have a WX and then a wave Y, but then you still expect lower. So, you know, something is not yet finished, right? That can work. No? They have like A, B, C, okay, W, you get wave X, maybe a larger X, maybe X is finished, doesn't really matter, you get a wave Y down. And if wave X is already finished, 382 touched, relatively short, shorter than the 382 Fib time, but you know, can happen. Then you look for wave A, wave B, and you still look for a wave C. So something is not yet finished. And the other option, which you probably know, is wave A, wave B, and you get a wave C down. Wave B is either finished here or larger corrective structure. At the moment, this counts more motive than corrective. So it could hint on this being finished, but you would still expect a wave C to the downside, which then has to be a 5-wave structure. And in theory, one could say, well, what's the chance of this being an A, B, C? If this is a 5, right? And maybe you get another little 4 and another little 5 and go a little bit lower to like the lower 50s, A, B, and then wave C over here and then up. Well, if we get to the same issue, quote unquote, compared to locally, is that your wave C is going to be so tiny. So we have the A. Oops, little misclick here. So we have the A. Wave B target area, right? Nicely respected. Althans, wow, I was going to speak Dutch there for a second. It actually just missed out on the common target area being the 382 Fib, right? It just missed it. Oh, wait, actually, this is on, let me go to, wait. I need that on log. Oh, Jeroen, feedback. It would be great if we can change the boxes depending on if we're on log or linear. Because the 382 is touched on the logarithmic chart. Let me quickly show this. And because price here dropped by 52%, which is more than 30, we actually like to use the logarithmic chart with the fibs set on log, which then means it's touched. Ooh, hey, I found something. So we can improve that. So 382, and then you're looking for your wave C to the downside, but then again, your wave C is going to be very tiny. So there we go. Is this already on log? No, not yet. So put that on log. 52.3. So that's your minimum target again, right? That's the 618. That's not the 1 to the 1.236. This is the 618. So as you can see, ideally, this is then like you get your 1, you get your 2, you get your 3, your 4, your 5, then you finish something, and that's the goal. But yeah, so low probabilities at this moment on a weekly that this is finished. And in order for us to change that idea and change that bias to, hey, something might be finished, well, we would need on at least a daily, we would need a 5-wave move up. And then you might miss the low, but now you have probabilities on your side. And you need a corrective move down. And if this is a proven corrective structure to the downside, that's the long. And that is the perfect entry to then look for price to move up. So you miss the first move. You create a high. You need a proven corrective move down. Explained in the previous video what I mean with proven corrective, meaning you cannot count an impulse down, cannot count a multi-1-2 down, cannot count a diagonal down. You will look for price to move up. Minimum target, potential for continuation. That's just management. So, but the probabilities at the moment are not high as something is finished at the current low that we have. When we also look at my aware zones, by the way, which is what you see here on the chart, let me go to a monthly. So these are very important areas of support and resistance according to a bunch of fibs that I created myself. And KRZ stands for Kuhn's reversal zone. I know it's very cheesy, but for lack of a better, it was just top of mind. So this was my first aware area to the upside when price here was moving up and up and up and up. This was the first real zone that I had. That was the all-time high. Now, this was the first zone to the downside, which acted as support for pretty much 4 months. And now it created a low or a close below the first aware area. So it makes it more interesting to look for the areas below. The next white, so the white areas are the main areas. The orange one are like the alternatives, so to say. But the next white area would be 46.43. The first orange area is 52.50. So the low 50s, I would kind of expect to see that hit at least. Ideally go lower to at least a 46.43. Then orange, 38.36. Then we have another white one, 31.26. So we'll see. But like the Elliott Wave ideas we have on the weekly would be in confluence with the aware zones as well, and how price moves around these. So that would be interesting. Whoops. Okay. So that is basically that on the weekly. What's up, Rich? How you doing? Welcome. I replied to this. France onto the... Yeah, I know. I watched the game yesterday. Not in a pub here or something, but I watched it from home. I mean, honestly, Morocco, it's a great team. But yeah, in that game, they rarely had the ball. Right? Like it was very, very much France overpowered. So... yeah, not many. Like the goalkeeper of Morocco was great. Eventually, of course, goals will be scored if you can have constant pressure. But yeah, it was difficult for Morocco. But I think they can be proud, no? Salatrais, Koens, I can count 5 waves up on the last move up. Can you confirm? You mean probably this move to the upside. Explained this a little bit earlier in the stream, but currently not high probabilities. This is a 5 because this is overlap. You have overlap here. So if you want to count this as a 5, I can see what you may do. Like maybe you do this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's probably how you end 5 waves at the high. The issue is that you have overlap between 2 and 4. You see the wicks? And because there's overlap between wave 2 and wave 4, which as per Elliott Wave International, there's a strong guideline to not see overlap. And therefore, you can't prioritize an impulse that has 2-4 overlap compared to other structures. Your primary is that either an impulse ideally is not yet finished, and this is just 1 2s, which means 3 and then 4 5s. Or this is corrective. And if price drops and doesn't make 4 5s the size of the 1 2s, but it drops before, this is high probability corrective. And then you have a corrective move down, corrective move up. You would expect just a larger corrective structure. So you would get another leg down. And then after another leg down, you go back up and take out the high. It might take a couple of days and whatnot. That high overlap is a B of a flat. Yes, so it's 2-4 overlap, which is what I said, yeah. But then still, 2-4 overlap, it's not an invalidation, as I just mentioned. But as per Elliott Wave International, there's a strong guideline to not see the overlap. It's not a rule, because the rule is 1-4 overlap. But 2-4 overlap is not what you like to see. So it lowers the probabilities. But you are correct. The overlap would be the high of a B. Yeah. So yeah, no worries, no worries. You're correct, Lipo. You're absolutely correct, right? So what you say is true. But the issue is the 2-4 overlap. So it does decrease the probability. So what the bulls are looking for here is 1 2 1 2 1 2 3 4 5 4 5 4 5, and just basically grind your way into the weekend with a couple of 4 5s and a bit more upside and moving into higher resistances. The bears would like to see price drop as soon as possible to 63.2K. And if that happens, the ideal case would be for a 5-wave move to the downside into the 3-hour order block. Then get a corrective structure up, ideally, right? So proven corrective, compounded impulse up, multi-1-2 up, diagonal up. And that's the potential to then look for price to move down, take out the low, and you could get a flat in that case. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alternative option would be then ABC and you go back up if this is motive, but that's not the primary. Which teams do you support? Well, I am both Dutch and French. My father is Dutch, my mother is French, and I currently live in France. Grew up in the Netherlands though. So I primarily support the Netherlands and France. If I have to pick teams, what I generally like is I like to have a good game. So I'm not a big football fan. I don't often watch football. I honestly rarely ever watch football except if there's big events like now. I find it interesting, but then I don't really watch the group stage usually. Only what happens after. And I also watched a few games of South Africa because my wife is South African, so we supported South Africa as well. So, yeah. And the Netherlands got kicked out by Morocco. South Africa lost in the final minutes of the normal time, like in the 95th minute. Who did they play again? They got a goal against them. I forgot the opponent, but basically they lost in in the 95th minute or something. But honestly, South Africa didn't play well in that game, so deserved winner. Also with the Netherlands, I mean I don't know maybe there's Dutchies here. I mean Jeroen is Dutch, but maybe there's more Dutch people here that live in like the Randstad. Okay. If you are Dutch and you live in the Randstad, Den Haag, Amsterdam, Utrecht, Rotterdam, I have a question. When the Netherlands were playing at the World Cup, right? Was there any hype? Was there any orange outside and the streets orange and this and that orange? Because I have this feeling it was completely dead. There was like almost like I don't know, no one that I spoke to, and of course I live in France, but even on WhatsApp and stuff, no one that I spoke to. Some are like, oh wait, there's a Netherlands is playing. Oh yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, I don't. It doesn't really feel like the time where in the Netherlands we had people playing like the South African World Cup where you had the legends, the Van Persie, the Sneijder, the Robben, those that was the hype. Are you watching the Argentina match? Yeah. I kind of watch most of the matches, but. Well, not true. If they're late at night or midnight, I don't watch them because I just sleep. I mean, look, I'm European, not American, and I prioritize my sleep. But if a game starts at 9 p.m. or 10 p.m., I'll watch it. I think tonight is there's a Belgium-Spain, I think, at 9 p.m., if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, 9 p.m. So I'll watch that. But then the England-Norway game starts at 11, which means it finishes at 1. It is weekend, so I will consider checking it out, though. But, yeah, like in the World Cup, I was supporting the Netherlands, France, and South Africa. And I actually was quite hyped that South Africa was even in the tournament. In the beginning, I didn't even know South Africa was playing. And then... because I don't really follow the group stage much. But then I checked the pools and checked the teams. I saw South Africa. I told my wife. So, yeah, I had watched a game of South Africa. And it was nice that they went through the pools into the knockout phase. But then 95th minute, they got a goal against them and they were out. But I mean, deserved not winning that game. Same with the Netherlands. Deserved not winning against Morocco. Let me put it here. 5 waves sounds like heaven to me. It looks like it's topping out. All right, just a bit of a range. We'll still have to figure out what's, we'll see what happens. Everything explained in the analysis. Media Mobile, how you doing? Yeah, that's been a while. Media Mobile, everyone, is one of the absolute OG subscribers of this YouTube channel. He's been here for a very long time. Glad to find you live in my free day. Nice that you have a free day. And thanks for spending a portion of your free day here online checking out the live stream. Huh? How are you doing? How are you doing? Could look at the reaction 61.5. I don't want to go generally in too low time frames. So I don't really, so because of this structure up, I don't really care much about what's happening on a 5 minute, 3 minute, etc. time frame. What's more important to me is the story that we see here, which is now visible on the 1 hour, which is that so far higher highs, higher lows, overlap over here. This can be corrective, but in order for this to be proven corrective, we need price to go down, basically. Can we count this motive? Yes, but preferably it's not finished because you have overlap here. So this is ideally not a wave 4. Ideally, it's a 2 because of the overlap. Or this move up is corrective. Yesterday, I wrote in a membership area where I said, well, this does look corrective because of the overlap here. And then the moment price takes out this high, you got to be aware of a double zigzag because then you have this W, and then you get a sideways range. And then basically because you take the high here, right, you can't end something here. So maybe you then have like ABC or AB, and then this is wave C. So you have a double zigzag, ABC, W, X, AB, and a bit of a larger C. That's your wave Y. Could be wave B. That's your flat, A, B. Look for wave C. Wave C down, fireworks at the end of the week. Create a low during the weekend. Slow down into support, 4 5s, whatnot, and then go back up next week. And then you expect the high to be taken because the bias is the same. You would like to take out that high. So XRP. I mean, I don't know. I don't really follow the chart, but anyone will have their preferred assets, I suppose. Gotta support a different country. Netherlands is already gone. Yeah, I know. I didn't watch the game though. The Netherlands Morocco. They played at like what 3 a.m. I'm not getting up at 3 a.m. Jeroen did though. What's up, admin? Didn't get the notification. Yeah, YouTube. It's classic. YouTube doesn't send notifications to everyone, so it's pretty random. I'm living in South Africa and I didn't even watch one of their games. Only watched the Springboks. I know. My wife, so the dad of my wife said that the football team really sucks. And they never watch football. They only watch the Springboks. Yes. So but I thought it was cool that they were playing. I thought it was cool they managed to get through the pool phase, and I think they can be proud. Are you watch on your team? Yeah, I will. If we count on the 50 minutes, wave 2 seems to be a flat. If that's the case, then there's no overlap. Yeah, but then there's still wave. Guys, at the beginning of my analysis, I said there's 2-4 overlap, not 1-4 overlap. Okay, this is 2-4 overlap, which is not an invalidation, but as per the Elliott Wave International Theory, 2-4 overlap, there's a strong guideline that to not see 2-4 overlap. It's low probabilities when that happens till proven otherwise. You will never prioritize an impulse where you have 2-4 overlap till proven otherwise by more information. So it's a probabilities game. So 2-4 overlap is not an invalidation. You can, in theory, count 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is your 5. However, because there's a strong guideline not to see 2-4 overlap, and it is always an alternative till proven otherwise, we need to wait for more information. And the probabilities are low that if this is motive, it is finished here. If price drops, the probabilities are higher this is corrective. Alternatively, this is motive. But it's an alternative. From a trading point of view, shorting here, in my personal humble opinion, I'm not a financial advisor. You do you, have your plan. And if you don't have a plan, go to Hexaplan. Nice plug there. It wasn't planned. But in my humble opinion, this is not an area where I would like to short. Because I don't have any confirmation whatsoever that price is going to drop. If I would like to go short, I want price to go down now, ideally. Not create more 4-5s. If so, then yeah, there will be a short higher after the impulse finishes. But if this is corrective, I want it to prove it to me. So I need price to go down, back inside this range, create a bounce that's corrective, that's the short, then go down. And if price moves up further, that's perfectly fine. More 4-5s into eventually resistance, and then that's the short, and you go down. Yeah. So it's a probabilities thing. It's not an invalidation, but it has an impact on the probabilities, you know. So and that's important. In the little town I lived, there was of course no hype. I mean, look. You live all the way north in the Netherlands, you know. They surprised a lot of us. Odin, did you watch any of the games? Bro, there's more Moroccans in the Netherlands than Dutch. They celebrated like crazy. Oh, I can imagine. They always do, right? Like they go out in the cars and they hoot, you know. Actually, yesterday, like last night, even though Morocco lost, I still heard hooting here, and I live in France. So that was quite interesting. I think in general, I guess the Moroccan fans can be very happy with what their team has shown. I mean, come on, you're playing against France. You know it's going to be incredibly difficult with the lineup the French have. And Morocco, I mean, if we honestly look at the game, there was like no chance. They had so little. They had a few opportunities, but it was a very difficult game. So yeah, they did well against the Netherlands. That was fun. I only watched the summary, to be honest. French people over the world in every country support France and wear their shirts in the streets. That's pretty cool. I see that here as well in the South. So that's nice. Like, it's nice to see people support their country. But I love the orange color, you know, like orange, the Dutch. Your favorite player is I don't have a favorite player. Like, honestly, I don't even have a favorite team. It's just that because I'm Dutch, French, and my wife is South African, I follow those teams. But if we have in the next game, we don't know if it's Spain or Belgium, but if France is gonna play against whoever in the semifinals and they lose and it's a good game, I don't like. I'm not a football fan. I don't really care as long as a game is fun and good. You know, I'm happy. I don't care that the Netherlands lose against Morocco, right? If they played a great game and it was fun to watch, then happy days. I never really understand people that get very sad or even very happy if a team loses or not, because it's not like they, you know, like why would my mental be affected by their performance? You know, it's not like the players on the pitch care about me watching. So you know, they get paid millions of bucks to touch the ball. So yeah, I think they'll be very happy just doing what they love. Victor, hi coins. Do we have time for any altcoins? If so, could you have a look at Ondo? Otherwise, we carry on. No worries. Thanks, mate. Ondo, what's the probability price going down to 60K? As mentioned earlier, on the weekly time frame, probabilities at the moment would still be very high to see that, but that's on a weekly. Locally, at the moment, there's not really any signs yet. I mean, 60K, if this is a wave 5, you can absolutely go to 60K and then look for maybe a following leg up. But I'm actually talking about the low, 57. Probabilities on a weekly time frame are at the moment still highest to see 57 taken at some time. Refresh for the option for log skill on Elliott Wave structures. Ah, okay. Let's have a look. 1 second. Let me double check if Jeroen has been cooking. Up. Jeroen has been cooking. So now I'm on a linear scale. We put the WXY on the chart. So here you see the target area. Right. Wait, where did I... Which 382 was it, by the way? Was it this one? Oh, wait, yes. Let me just take an ABC. A, B, and then wave C. Yeah, that was it. We were looking at the ABC. Okay, so I'm on linear scale. You can see the word lin here at the top, and then you see log. And you can see the target area for B. Let me actually minimize this so it's a bit easier to read. So we go to B and we just reduce the time here. And we also reduce the high targets because we don't need them. So, okay, and now you see the target area of C, which is like down here. Now, at the moment, I'm on a linear scale, and the 382 here is not touched. But on log scale, the 382 is touched. Now, earlier in this live stream, nothing changed if I went to log. But now, we should see something change. At least. Is there a setting that I need to switch? Jeroen. Oh, here, log scale. Ah, very nice. Very nice. Let me actually change this again. This pop. Oh, wait. Okay, there we go. Yes. Very nice. So Jeroen added a log scale button so that the targets that automatically pop up are changed to log scale. That's amazing. Very, very nice. So very, very nice. So if we would look at an ABC, then here's the targets. Yo, nice, Jeroen. I actually wonder, Jeroen, that if I put the chart on log, if it automatically switches to log. However, sometimes, especially if you do monthly analysis, you actually don't want that. Because if you do monthly analysis and you look for log targets, then sometimes it's you have like a target of 4 million, which doesn't make sense. And then having linear targets make more sense. So I think it's good the way you did it. If we go to log, we just go to the settings, we toggle on the log scale for the targets. And for the count. So yeah, this is good. This is good. Very nice, man. Very, very nice. Whoop. Oh yeah. So where's the guy that said Ondo? Oh, yeah, here. Would you have oh yeah, Hive. Okay, so we have Hive, we have Ondo. Check that in a second. Textual updates didn't go on my way. Oh, okay, I see. You mainly watch the Springboks as well. Morocco played well against the Dutch, but against France, they had no chance. Yeah, it was difficult. I like to see underdogs win. Yeah, Norway against England. Dude, that's going to be a game, eh? Interesting one. What if wave 2 is a flat? Then we can argue that there is no overlap. There is. Guys. There is overlap, but not wave 1-4 overlap. I don't know. Guys. There is always overlap. Doesn't matter if you want to count this as wave B or wave X. There is overlap. Right? I mean, I explained this like 3 times now. Maybe some people coming later. But there is always overlap here. But it's 2-4 overlap. Wave 2-4. Not wave 1-4. So therefore, this is not an invalidation. I think the guy is trolling now. So I'm not going to engage any further, nor explain, because I did that 3 times already. TA started yet? Yeah. Oops. This is the Hexaloop chart. No, this is wave charts. So this is something we've been developing for, I think, over a year as well, actually. And this is a platform made for Elliott Wave analysts. And we're kind of on the brink of going live. Of course, there's still some bugs here and there, but it's an incredibly complicated platform. Like there is building your own trading view, but then specifically for Elliott Wave analysts with lots of different functionalities regarding Elliott Wave analysis and you know the targets that the stuff I do with targets. That's the peanuts part basically, right? Where I can toggle on all of the targets as I want and they appear, and I can turn them off or on or whatever. But there's a lot more functionalities. There's a projection tool that we have as well. There is a wave info section here, which of course is off because I don't have a count on my chart. But if you would have an impulse or a WXY, whatever, you get the info, check if the rules are there, blah, blah, blah. It will give warnings if any rules are broken or certain guidelines might not be well respected. The platform automatically gives you warnings. So, and there's a lot more. There's a lot more. Like this is, I can't go into this in this live stream. That's for another time. But it's designed for Elliott Wave analysts in mind. So, and what's also nice is you can have counts per time frame. So let's just like, let's imagine we have like a local ABC here, right? A, B, and then we get wave C. Now I can go to the settings, to visibility, and I can say, well, I want this ABC to only appear on the 1 hour time frame. Right, and if I go to another time frame, so now you can see the ABC, but if I then go to the 4 hour, it disappears. So you know that it's small things, and then if I go back to the 1 hour, there it is again. So it's you know, it's very easy switching between time frames and immediately seeing the counts that you have on that time frame. You don't actually even, you know, you can almost skip the object tree this way. But even if you have the object tree, you can have folders in folder. So this is folder 1. And then in folder 1, we can just create another folder as well. Where did my folder go? You're good. I don't know where my folder just went. And this is what I mean, like some things. Oh, here we go. So now I have a folder inside a folder, which also means you can stack Elliott Wave counts. So if you have a bullish count on the weekly and a bullish count on the daily and a bullish count on the 4 hour, and they all relate to one another, you can put the daily count in the weekly folder, the 4 hour in the daily folder, or just have them in one folder. So you can have basically a folder that says bullish, and then here you then have folders with weekly count, daily count, 4 hour count, 1 hour count, etc. Right? So, and there's so much more going on. So of course, all the structures, oh, here you can see the warning, right? So this is an expanded flat, and as long as I don't put wave C below A, it gives a warning, right? So you're automatically reminded, like, okay, this is incorrect. I cannot do this. I have to put it here. Then of course I can put the targets on as well, right? So targets automatically appear with the FIB times and whatnot. Here you see all the settings. You can customize everything as well. Here, wave levels. If you think that the 1.618 is a common target, you can just change it, right? Or you maybe want to make it an invalidation. You can change it. You can change everything. You can add levels and whatnot. It won't take, like, I don't think it will take long for us to eventually pop this out. We also have also projection tool, but at the moment in the account that I have in wave charts, I don't have the projection tool. Actually, the projection tool is basically like a polyline where I can select waves with a polyline structure, and then I can, like, based on the line that I show, the platform will automatically give you the higher and lower probability potentials. So you can see, okay, the probabilities are higher for this compared to that. So if I would put a polyline here and say that this is a 5-wave structure to the system, I don't need to, but I could. And I would put a polyline here and say that this is a 3. It will automatically come with scenarios like, okay, maybe you have to look for a multi-1-2, maybe a wave C, maybe a larger impulse. Like, it automatically gives you the options. And basically what it does is show you the bias. Some OG, like old viewers that have been here for a long time, they may remember that in some of my old content at the end of the video, I always had the polyline. So we had multiple scenarios. And then what I did is I had like all the polylines on the chart, etc. Right? And based on all the different polylines, you got a very good idea on, well, clearly the bias is higher to take out that high or take out that low or look for a larger range. And that's basically what the system now automatically does for you as well, so that it automatically gives you all those polylines. And then based on this, you get a very good idea of, okay, well, the probabilities are higher to go that way. So yeah, is the platform live or coming soon? It would be in coming soon. It's not yet live, but we're getting there though. The Hexa loop chart, as Jeroen says, the Hexa charts will also be a charting platform like this, but it's not with all the Elliott Wave related stuff. It will be specifically with plan creation tools and tracking strategy tools. And so what we're developing is a system where Hexa plan. So the Hexa plan, when you create a plan in the background and you go through the 6 steps to create a consistent, repeatable, data-driven plan, it's connected to wave charts. And then when you're testing a strategy, you can basically click here and then a circle appears. And then basically it automatically tracks data from that moment. And then it tells you like, it communicates, the chart communicates with the platform. So it saves you a lot of time in collecting data. So we're working on this, which is a big time saver. It also has like, the position calculator automatically communicates with the platform. So when you're in a trade, imagine you had as a plan, you went long here. Now, all of the data on what happens here will be automatically communicated to the platform. So the entry, where's the stop loss, where's the TP, TP1, TP2, TP3 is taken. And then instead of a wave info section here on the right side, we actually have your plan section. So it has like all sorts of different info on your plan, on the existing trade and etc. And that's communicated again automatically to the Hexaplan platform as well. So yeah, and there's more, but it's really cool. Great World Cup, Formula 1, Grade 2, EPL starting soon. Yeah, I don't follow EPL, but yeah, Formula 1 is next week again. So and the World Cups, yeah, so far so good. Odin, Springboks with mates, it's great. People go wild when they win. Big fans of the Springboks. Okay, let me 1 second here. Let me quickly go to TradingView, because we don't yet have all of the different altcoins and whatnot on wave charts. So we had Ondo and there was another one. Hype? Hive. Wait, maybe I already have it. Yep. Old. That's not great for Ondo overlap here. Increases the probabilities. This is the weekly, that this is a 3-wave structure because you have overlap. So the bulls, the only thing that bulls can do now is either have a multi-1, 2, 3, or look for a larger diagonal. The bears look at an ABC. ABC can become a larger corrective structure. So a WXY double zigzag, sideways, WXY, that sort of stuff is a possibility. But it's not amazing for Ondo to see price retrace this far. Because now this of course clearly looks like a 3-wave, not a 5, unless it's a multi-1, 2, which is not out of the question, because you need to change the structure to invalidate a multi-1, 2. So multi-1, 2 is still a possibility, but it's not great. Let's have a look locally. This could be an impulse to the upside. 1, 2. Yeah, there is the potential here for a 5-wave impulse to the upside, which means this would be wave A or wave 1. So far, this is a 3-wave move to the downside, also retraced back. So this is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Low probability impulse. For a multi 1-2, where's my FIB time here on TradingView? From here to, I mean, if I make it a bit longer and we do this, 2 FIB time not reached, take the higher high, toggle on 886. Because the bearish scenario, of course, becomes a multi 1-2 to the downside. Diagonal low probabilities because you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's way too early. But the lower degree 1 would be quite long, I think. About the 1-to-1. It's not yet out. So a bearish multi 1-2 is not out of the question. But if we consider the potential of a 5-wave move up, and then we see a 3-wave move down so far, arguably this looks better as an ABC to then take out the high and look for 5, 3, and eventually a 5. There's currently the potential here as well of this being a 5-wave structure. So what the bulls want to see, of course, is still a 4 and a 5. So what you can do locally with this move up is take a 618 from the low to the high, and that's your invalidation for wave 4. Because what the bulls are looking for is at least another range and another move up. 1 minimum, potentially even 2, because there could be a double 1-2 here, 1-2, 1-2, 3. Even a triple is a possibility, by the way. 1-2, 1-2, 1-2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5. But still, you're looking for at least minimum another 4 or 5. So that's what the bulls want to see on Ondo. And then the other one was Hive. I don't think I actually have Hive in my list. H Hype. Don't. I have a couple of these that probably just died. So. More red ones, yeah. Hive. What is Hive? Is that the stock Hive? To look at Hive again, looks like an expanded flat on the 1 hour. I guess it's the stock, no? Is it? Wait, is that guy still there? Wait, who was the one that wrote it? 1 second, I'm checking. Travis Russell. Are you still here? I'm just double checking if Yo, John, have to run and start my work, but thanks for the update and analysis. Yo, John, have a good day at work on the West Coast. Enjoy, and good luck with the real estate stuff, man. Good luck. Thanks for popping in your morning. Have a good day. My Bitcoin analysis was earlier in the live stream, so I recommend going down a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah, okay, so this is it. Okay. 1 second. Actually, I want to go to a 4 hour here. What's going on? Wow. Now that's a sideways chart, eh? All-time. Okay, so this is the all-time low. There is at least the potential of an impulse. We can't invalidate it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. The only risk is that your 3 is the shortest, so we got to check that. Let's say this is a flat as well. Okay, we need to put the chart on log. It already is. Is this on log? Yes, it is. But then, ooh, that's close. Okay, wave 3 is not shortest. So you can count an impulse to the upside here. But, so, okay, well, we'll look locally. 1, 2, 3, 5. Potential for an A, B, C to the downside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B. This is your C. 1, 2s, 4, 5s. Of course, that's what the bulls want to see, no? Okay. So this is, of course, structural support here. Right, important first line of defense for the bulls. I feel like I miss another high for an impulse. But, I mean, it's so gappy. 1, 2. So, of course, we can like 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2. 3. The question is one of these a 4 compared to this being a 2? Because if that's the case, then we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which might be nice because you change structure now. So unless this is a flat, so could this be a flat? Maybe, but be aware that you can also end some. So this is the easy part. So let me make it easy. Your bullish count is this is B. Your bearish count is that this would be the end of maybe an impulse to the upside. So it's 1, A, whatever. The thing is that if you get an impulse to the downside here, the low is the same. So this low is wave C for a flat. It's a wave 1 for an impulse. It's a wave A for a zigzag, which means in all these cases, you're looking for price to move up anyway. And then the question is the move up motive or corrective? So that's you got to follow up. But do you get a corrective move to the upside? Do you get a motive wave move up? Right? That's the question. And based on the move up, you manage. Is it motive? We hold on. If it's corrective, we don't hold on. We sell. Again, but the position is the same. The opportunity is the same, right? So you don't actually need to know if this is wave B of a flat or if this is a 1 or A. It's a very messy chart with all the gaps. What you want to focus on is basically this move down and then be like, well, if this is an impulse, let's say like 1, 2, 1, 2. If this would be the 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe another 4, 5. That would be nice. Price then moves into this area. That would be a potential. Where is it? Got to find my tools on TradingView now that I always use wave charts. So that would be opportunity. Look for the bounce. And then is this a 5 or is this a 3? 5 or 3? That's the question. If it is a 3, quick TPs and exit. If this is a 5, pop. Hold on. Probably TP to high though. Look for a 3-wave corrective structure. 3-wave corrective structure. Once confirmed, becomes the second entry. That's the compound. Look for higher. So that would be my approach really. I think that wave 4 is invalidated. Is invalid. Touch the 618. Yeah, but so I'm not sure which wave 4 you talk about. Mind you, we use the 618 as an invalidation because it's very rare for wave 4s to touch the 618. Like, very rare is an understatement. It's extremely rare. But it can happen. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So if this 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, I'll select the highest point. 2 here. So this is not invalid. I'm selecting the highest point in the 2. Because this can also here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this one red candle could be your 2. So like it's a bit messy. It's low time frame, but I wouldn't invalidate an impulse here and to the upside. No 618. So, but yeah, generally though, this would be my approach. If price ideally comes down a little bit further to move into this range, fill this little gap here, or actually quite a gap, and then move in here. That would be my area of interest for a long, and then you got to wait for maybe some signs of strength, whatever your plan tells you, right? Make sure you have one. And if you don't, make a plan. But then that would be my area. Like, the ideal area for me would be to long somewhere here, which is between 421 and 369. Nice. So yeah. Oh, interesting question. Do you watch Elliott Wave Analysis analysts on YouTube? I actually don't. But the main reason I don't is because it influences my own analysis, and I know that I can trust my own analysis because of my level in Elliott waves, my expertise in Elliott waves. So I don't watch any Elliott wave content on YouTube because I don't need it. I trust myself, and the hit rate we have on YouTube with the probabilities playing out is extremely high. So I'm actually collecting data on this now, because I have here a website called Binance Data Collection. How interesting is this? I didn't even know that it existed. But this is data.binance.vision, and you can basically download the candles and the chart of different months. This is a 1 hour time frame. So what I'm currently doing is I was curious, like, okay, how, like over the year 2025, I uploaded 200 videos, excluding the live streams, 200 videos. And I was curious, well, we know the hit rate is very high on YouTube, but I don't have an exact number with the probabilities playing out and the bias playing out. So I want to put a number to it. So what I'm doing at the moment in the background, of course using AI as well, is I've downloaded a market information of every month in 2025 plus the first 3 months of 2026, in case some of the videos in 2025 December relate to the price action early in 2026. And then what I'm going to do is download all the scripts of my 2025 videos, upload them, plus upload this data, and then basically create a complete master sheet of what I said, what happened, and did the bias and probabilities play out. And then I can put a number to it. So hopefully not too long, but it will take a little while. But hopefully not too long, I'll be able to say, well, in 2025, we had a success rate on YouTube of X%. Yeah, but I don't need to look at others, so it's a distraction for me. Yeah. Sometimes back in the day I see hype. So sometimes back in the day I did watch others, but then because of someone else with their scenario, I might adjust my own, because I'm like and then in the end, the other person is wrong. And actually my initial scenario was right, but then I adjust. So it's messy. So I prefer to just not be bothered with any other Elliott Wave analyst on social media, not on Twitter, not on YouTube, not on Discord, not on anywhere, to be honest. So this is hype. Okay, I have stuff going on, but in a nutshell, it makes sense looking for another all-time high without breaking structure. One has to be careful about what comes next and manage that accordingly. If structure breaks, a deeper retracement is expected. After such a big run since April, when was this? April, I guess we were here. One has to be very aware of a potential end of an impulse and make sure that plans by strong continuation. So it makes sense looking for another all-time high. Okay. Okay, so what is the bearish scenario then? I'm looking for another all-time. Okay, so the bearish scenario is actually the retracement and then back up. How old is this analysis? This might be some old. So that's a very, very old conclusion, but at least probabilities played out with price making another all-time high. So I don't know exactly what I exactly did or said, but okay, now I see. Okay, yes. Okay, so now it makes sense to me. Let me make this larger so people can read. So I think we analyzed this when price was falling or something. I don't know. So someone has to go back in time. But we were looking, it makes sense looking for another all-time high without breaking structure. I'm actually not sure if I was talking about what's happening here with higher highs, or if I was already talking here. I guess it was just here. I probably favored a bearish scenario, and a bearish scenario was looking for price to move down into support. The bullish scenario is continuation with the multi-1-2s. So my preference was bearish scenario till proven otherwise. And I marked this white box as a potential area for a low, which was pretty much correct. So that's not too shabby. and then look for price to go back up. So I don't know if anyone saw my old hype content, but I hope you're doing very well. Anyway, now that hype is back all the way up here. How big is this move, by the way? 216%. Not bad. Hype. What time frame? Yo, Yannisk. What's up? What's up today? Two very, very long time subscribers joining the chat. Media Moville, Yannis, how you doing? John as well, by the way. But Legendario. But yo, welcome. I know you're from the very beginning of YouTube journey. Your development is incredible as you always try to improve and learn new things. Very inspiring. Thank you, Yannis. And I appreciate you popping in. Thanks for popping in. Yeah, I mean, I guess in the end we always aim to improve something, right? Like even if we're good in Elliott Wave Analysis, there's always something we can improve or change, or maybe include the polylines, create platforms that help with Elliott Waves, like whatever. So thanks for popping in and being here. Very kind. How are you doing? Been a while. How are you doing? Nice to see some of the classic names pop in. Pleasure, Travis. Pleasure. Hype USDT. So yeah, I mean we're at hype here. Local move. I guess it's more interesting for you to know what's going on locally. This is the 1 hour time frame. Okay. 1 second. 1 hour. I feel is a bit too low for my liking. Okay, find support on a little order block here. The one red candle in a sea of green candles. Do you use other confluences to enter positions? Yes, I do. For the most part, at least. Not always, but yes. And the confluences are it's everything that I use plus CVD. So everything you see here, and then we also have, let me go to Discord. Where is it? Oh. And then we have CVD. So I have a CVD one pager, CVD, what is it? Template that you can use. And I also keep an eye on that. Like I have CVD strats, as pretty much everyone knows by now because of the Hexaplan videos. But also without CVD, I like with Elliott Waves, like stuff like trend and turn, proven corrective, those type of things is interesting to me. Yeah. How analysis, CVD, make a video. I already have one. Lucky for you. So before I continue my analysis, let me quickly get this guy my or girl, or like he, she, or it. I mean, I never know who I talk to, of course. it's the danger. CVD beginner. So this video has been viewed almost 150,000 times, which is pretty incredible. So here you go. It's an oldie but goldie. And in a 24-hour period, it still racks up 48 hours online, 300 views. So it just keeps going. I don't know, but it's the best video on my channel. So okay, we have this move to the downside. So this is very clearly an impulse, price retraces, corrective mess. Okay, wait. Okay. So on a 4 hour, it feels a bit like you're ending an impulse. 1, 2, Right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, potentially extended 5 to create room for the 4. So all of this could be wave 4 price action, really. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this looks like something finished here. Can it be a triangle to the upside? Oh, you mean here on hype? I mean, it's so it feels like this could be still wave 4. The bearish case is that you already finished wave 4 and that's the end of your 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that would be a very short 4 compared to your wave 2. So ideally, you create a larger wave 4 and it's going to be a WXY triangle, whatever structure, just to compare with the 2. So I would actually like to see a little bit higher on hype on the higher time frames. Mind you, I'm on a 4, but this is actually daily time frame analysis or even the weekly. So it's, you know, a little bit more. So what makes more sense to me is kind of 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 1, 2 overlap here. Then you get the 3. Then this is your 4, 5, 4. Look at the size. And then you get 5. Look how steep this is. Right? So this being a 2 matches this being a 4. Then you get an extended 5, which creates room for the higher degree wave 4 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then with that in mind, we toggle on the fibs. Is this log? Yes, because we need to, let's see. Yeah. Okay. And time-wise, take a fib time, start to finish of 2 to the potential end of 3. Create 2, minimum target reached, but ideally it goes on a little bit longer. 2, 3, 4, 5. So, yeah, definitely a triangle is not out of the question here. Yeah, this could very well be A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is C. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. So yes, this has potential to become a triangle or to be one. Should at least be in your folders. A, B, running triangle. Preferably C is actually then finished. No? C, and then you get wave D, and then you get wave E. Don't want to break the structure, ideally. So, yeah. And here you indeed then count a 3-wave movement. This is very messy, the beginning here. A, B, this might actually be a double zigzag internally. A, B, C, W, X, A, B, and this is C, and that's your wave Y. I don't know. You create another low with the wick. Not sure if I should trust this wick. But if so, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you need like A, B, and then wave C. So yeah, it feels corrective. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like I miss a 4, 5. So this feels corrective. Or counts corrective. I say feel, but it looks more corrective than motive, which means the bias would be taking the high, but that would align with the daily of them looking for a little bit higher. It's just that if this is a 4, right, and you go up and you would look for a 5, you look for this whole trend to end since 20. Now, a blow off top is always a possibility, but your wave 3 is generally the extended wave, not wave 5. So you might just go up, pass $100, psychological level, and then start a retracement. Yannis, I now have more time to go into trading again, and I'm glad you are remain that active. Follow you still as a silent viewer. Thank you, Yannis. And you now have more time again. We're just really busy with like work, family, just, you know, other stuff. Welcome back to trading and executing. Do you actually trade Elliott Waves, or just like someone else asked me here, do you also use other confluences to enter positions, Yannis? I think Legendario asked about Ethereum. We did hype or magma. I'm just going a bit in. And then after ETH, I'm going to call it a day. How long are we live for now? We're live for 1.5 hours. Magma. I guess like when someone tells Magma, I guess it's just the first pick on my chart. Holy. Is it this? So the person that wrote Magma, Abhinav. I think you're still here. Okay, Magma USDT. Thank you. Magma. Thank you for clarifying that. Okay, which chart are we going to use? Let's start with MEXC, see how much info we have. Oh, I need to go to lower time frames. Magma USDT. Just have a look at some of the history, 4 hour. Okay, 4 hour. This looks like a solid chart. Okay, yeah, the candles look pretty good. So we can work with this. Okay, so it looks to be very new, launched in December 2025. So we don't have a lot of information to work with. I never regard this as the all-time low. For me, the all-time low is this low. Anything before does not make any sense to analyze. So you basically only want to look at what's happening over here. Right, and it's definitely a little bit of a messy move. A, B, C, D, E. There could be a triangle in here. I'm just quickly let me just draw stuff here. Pop it up. 1, 2, 3, A, B, C, D, E, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe you finish something, maybe not. It's a very messy move, but something could be finished. Could be finished. Even an expanding diagonal here seems to work, but okay. So aware that on a high time frame, mind you, like it's a very tricky chart here with all the overlap, but 1, 2, 3, triangle in a 4, and then get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? There's definitely a way to end an impulse, possibly here, maybe later. Could even be an expanding diagonal, which would be the bearish case, because then you would expect a larger corrective structure. Probably you would go back inside this range, excess support, and you get a bounce. So naturally, when I just look at the chart like this, your first main structural support is this, which means that high time frame longs are most interesting. No financial advice, you're on YouTube. Are most interesting in this area if it gets there. Now locally though, 1 second, I'm counting. Oh, okay. This looks very similar to was it Hive that I analyzed earlier with the flat, if it's a B top or if it's the end of an impulse. So this quite clearly looks like an impulse at the moment. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and 5. The other option is 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another 4 and 5. That's the question. It wigged the low already, so you might just have a finished structure here. But if this is finished or creates one more low, but you would look for a retracement that goes to at least the 382. Which is not yet touched. How far of a drop is this? 60%. So if something finished here, you're looking for at least a 382 as a retracement target. This is important structural resistance here. So that's the area between 47 and 58. And if this is still a 4, which would be quite a big 4, honestly, compared to the 2, but if, not the highest probabilities, you would look for a 5 down. and then price still needs to go up, and then the 382 goes from this high to this low. So it will sit a little bit lower. So we have a gap here, which of course is now tested monthly, daily. Do this. Just checking some areas of support and resistance. Okay, interesting. Where is it? Where is it? Oops, no. Give me 1 second here. Just checking support, control, weekly point of control. This is the current week point of control, and then we have much lower as well, but not yet interesting at the moment. Up week, month. Okay, so there's also a monthly. Okay. So we have a couple of support resistance areas. Okay. So, I mean, as mentioned, this is like a very important area of support, which also proves with the amount of volume you have here. Weekly point of control, value high, range point of control, monthly point of control, weekly point of control, all at the same level as well, around 0.21. So that's super important. Resistance will naturally be this range. That's your first area of resistance. Second area would be 58. So arguably it starts here at 47 to 58, which is the high. And also the low of a gap here. But yeah, actually in the quote unquote short term or on a 4-hour chart, I would actually like to see price just retrace into this. And if it comes down once more without touching the 382, which it hasn't done yet, I would expect a bounce and look for price to move up. So if this happens and this becomes 3, price reverses. I mean, it definitely looks like a 3-wave structure at the moment, which actually would increase probabilities to go down at some stage. Disregarding the wicks, it's currently move up, sideways, and another move up. So bulls would look for some 1-2s. Bears have like a 3-wave structure, and they would look for price to go down. So yeah, it's not a great structure for the bulls this here. Also, your lower degree wave 1 is quite a bit longer than the higher degree one. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if there might be some funny diagonal, whatever going on here, but so yeah, I would not be surprised to see lower. The bullish case here is a multi 1-2. The bearish case is this is corrective. I'd probably initially would prefer corrective, which would mean the buys later is going down, but I want to see a larger corrective structure. So if something finished at this low, I want price to go at least up here into this range, and that's potential for shorts. We'll see. If this is higher probability corrective, then shorts are going to be more interesting higher. And I'd be very interested to look for positions long down here. It just Yeah. And then you wouldn't, potential for A, B, get wave C slows down, wave 4, 5s into support, and then get a bounce, and then see what happens. But yeah, I want the 382 to be touched, which is not touched. So either move up higher or go down and then move up. Then this is the final force. So if you go down now, it's always going to be a buying opportunity. No financial advice. We're on YouTube. You know how it goes. But yeah, that would be most interesting if you do not go up first. If you go up first, move inside this range, I'd observe resistance. Yo, maybe a band-aid, man. How are you doing? Yo, what's up? Thank you for the gifty, man. Every live stream, another gift. What a guy. Thank you, Jason. I'm on short in Magma, the top 0.7 anyways. Yo, cheers, Abhinav. Good morning, General Dictator. How are you doing? I started getting into trading with you, so my strategy is pretty the same like yours, using in addition EMAs and RSI. Okay. That's interesting. Similar style. That's nice. Yeah, RSI. I don't really use RSI, but I'm actually planning to create a data-driven strategy with maybe the RSI using a Hexa plan. So just building a strategy, going through the steps. So that would be quite interesting. But yeah, that's nice, man. And of course, the EMAs. I can imagine on the high time frame, but maybe on the lower as well. How to learn Elliott Wave Theory correctly? I always love this question. So here's your steps. So how to learn Elliott waves? Step number 1. I'm getting there. Preparing. Step number 1 is that you go to this website, because I don't have the information yet. Website with it. So here we go. Yeah. Continue, blah, blah, blah. So here we go. That would be number 1. And this website arguably is like 90% correct. It misses some details and some things, but read through this, make notes. From the start, you learn Elliott waves. Get a notebook, get a pen. Notebook preferably A4 size, because it's nice to draw the structures large, and go through this, everything, the whole thing, which is quite long, as you can see. That's where I would start. So start here, write everything down, draw the structures, draw the rules, draw the guidelines. This platform invented some funny button with comments here, which is hella annoying, actually. This is new. So, but anyway, so that's where you can start. Then second, I would recommend to go to my YouTube channel, or at the same time, you can go to my YouTube channel, and then you check out this, the Elliott Waves Beginner Guide. So we click on it. You could arguably start here as well, simplest way. This is Koen's theory. But then here are, this is like all the theory that you need to know about Elliott waves is covered in these videos. The playlist has almost been viewed 100,000 times. Very nice. I actually didn't know. Just saw that. And there's some additional content here as well on how to execute and trade Elliott waves and other stuff. So this would be a great place as well. So you read the website. 90% of the stuff is okay. But maybe at the same time, you also do this. So if you are at impulses here, which is the first section, you're going to watch my impulse videos. You're going to draw the impulses in the notebook, write down the fibs, draw the fibs, write down what's common, write down what's rare. You do all of that, right? And after you learn the theory, you go and implement. So once you learn about impulses, I would recommend to wait for a second with the next structure and just go to the chart and be like, can I identify an impulse somewhere? So just to put all of that theoretical work into practice and train your visual, right? Train your visual side as well. So can you identify, if I open the chart here, right? Can you identify a good looking impulse, right? That's then the next step. I think one of the most beautiful impulses I've ever seen on Bitcoin is this one here. 1 2s, 3 wave 4s and 5s, and down you go. Right? So yeah, so that is what I would do. And then you go to the next structure. Start with impulses, then the diagonals, then the zigzags, then the flats, then the triangles, and then the WXY double three or triple threes. Okay, in that order. Priority is learning the motive waves, which is your impulse and diagonal. And the multi 1-2. I also cover multi 1-2s here because I do like I almost see them like a separate pattern, but it's just a wave 3. It's different Elliott wave degrees. You can watch the video, right? But there's not a lot of information on multi 1-2s, so that's why I made a video on multi 1-2s. But if you can recognize an impulse, a multi 1-2, and a contracting diagonal, and you are able to memorize the rules, the guidelines of these 3, you are 80% there. Because, and now we get to executing based on Elliott waves, right? If price creates a bounce off a low, and you know everything about impulse, diagonal, and a multi 1-2, you can check if this is motive or not. Because if price is in a downtrend and it creates a bounce and it's not one of these 3, it must take the low, high probabilities. Not must, but you're like 90-95% probabilities you go down. Which means that with that bias, you can try to look for shorts. So I have this as an example. This is literally what I did in my content as well, right, back in the day. So is this motive or not? Okay, now we were looking here for a turn. Right? Price is falling. You overlap here as well. The bullish count is not an impulse, because for an impulse you needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you create overlap. Cool, okay. The moment this happens, impulse invalid. Can you count a multi 1-2? Because a diagonal is lower probabilities than a multi 1-2. So then the next step is there potential for a multi 1-2? 1 to 1, 2 up in a 3. Well, the issue is that, first of all, you need a corrective movement to the downside here. But besides that, if we take a fib time from the start to the end of the, from the start to the end of the higher degree 2 to the end of the second wave 1. I may have to put this on the chart, but this is 1, that's 2, that's your second one, and you look for another 2. The moment price here makes another low after the 2 fib time, which is stuff you won't find on the website, right? It's very low probabilities you're looking at a multi 1-2. And probabilities are much higher to take out this low, because a diagonal is just not your highest probability structure. Besides that, a diagonal didn't work on the 1st of July anyway, after you move down after the 2 fib time, because your 4 is longer than your 2. So didn't make any sense. And then bulls would require this, like 1. Hello, Koen, can I like click? 1, 2, 3, 4, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Doesn't make, like, not highest probabilities. So can we count this motive, this here? No. Low probabilities. Impulse, invalid. Multi 1-2, very low probabilities. Diagonal is just not relevant, meaning bias is down, take out that low. That's your bias. Went down in a straight line. Perfect. Played out. So if you know the motive waves very, very well, you can almost forget about the corrective structures. Because you don't actually need the corrective structures to understand what the bias is on the chart. If price here, right, again, it's the same thing here. Price creates a low and moves up. Can you count this motive? No, you can't. You can't count an impulse here because wave 4 is invalid. You can't count a multi 1-2 here as well, right? Same thing, 2 fib time, and it like doesn't work. And a diagonal here is completely irrelevant. So you look for the low, and then bloops, and down you go. And maybe price creates a larger corrective structure, fine, but you still look for that low, because the bias is take out the low, because you can't count it motive with high probabilities. You don't need to know actually the corrective movement. Is this a zigzag? Is it going to be a WXY? Is it going to be a flat? Is it going to be a triangle? It doesn't matter because your bias is set. And what I tend to do in my content, and the same was true here, right? You can't count as motive, corrective, you're in a downtrend. So what I tend to do in my content nowadays to simplify reading the chart is to talk more about directional bias instead of specific scenarios to make people understand probabilities are higher to take that high, probabilities are higher to take that low. And this is the reason why. It's a three-wave structure. Can it be a larger corrective movement? Yes. But is it important? No, because the bias is set. So locally on the 1 hour, the bias is take out that high, right? Now, if price would have created a double zigzag to the downside here, or maybe now it can still create a flat or whatever, but you're still having the same bias. But that means that the moment this is a high probability 3, which was basically confirmed when price was here, this is a high probability 3 in a local uptrend, but bias is highest to take out the high. If price then creates a larger corrective structure, for example, a double zigzag, ABC, X, ABC, that's fine because your bias is take out the high. So you just long from lower. Your position is always going to be long. And the target is that high. Now, for the ones with the detail, yes. If this would be a zigzag and this would be a wave X and it's a corrective structure, then yes, wave Y does not need to take out the high. So taking a little bit of earlier profits is smart, right? If you know corrective structures and stuff. But generally speaking, that would be a way to execute. Right? And if this would be a zigzag ABC, and then you get a double zigzag, a W, X, and a Y down, right? W, X, and then you get a wave Y, chuck, chuck, chuck. That doesn't take out the high of W, because now I'm basically saying you would long this low. Right? That's the target in that case. Minimum target I said is the high, but with a WXY, you don't need to take out that high. But then you need to know a little bit about corrective structures, and here you're going to be losing steam in wave C of a flat, and it starts curving and it slows down, and you don't take out the high, and you better get out of your position. But you're still on the right side. You're still going to be long. You're still going to be in profit. You just manage as price goes along. If you know motive waves in Elliott waves, if you know the motive waves, you know 80% of Elliott waves. You do not necessarily need to know all the corrective structures, but knowing the corrective structures will help you with accuracy and management of positions. But you don't really need it to look for the bias and then enter positions based on your bias. And what I feel like happens a lot in Elliott waves in the niche that we are in is that analysts and stuff tend to overcomplicate Elliott waves. They look at like specific Elliott wave scenarios, like price must do this. Right? This is my highest probability scenario. But it instead makes a lot more sense to have a bias. I don't care if this turns into an ABC and price goes down. I don't care if this turns into 1, 2, 1, 2 and it goes up. Or if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 impulse. Or if we create a larger structure and then go up. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Because the bias is take out the high. And then we will see with new information what we get and how we manage. Is it going to push motive, volume increasing, right? Like a wave 3, 1, 2, 2, blah, 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 and then we get a wave 3, high volume, big extension, big candles, weekend is low probabilities. Go back to my analysis. I'm now just using examples. Then yeah, you hold on. But if price is moving up, slows down, into resistance and all that stuff, well, this might be a wave C, could be another wave 1, right? We wait for another retracement, and then you do the same thing. Is the retracement that you get, is this motive or corrective? Well, if it is corrective, okay, cool, we long again and up we go. Well, same bias, take out the high and we'll see how high it goes. But after you take out, when the bias plays out, what happens after depends on the new information. And what happens a lot is people aim to predict what they cannot yet predict with Elliott waves. So maybe their bias is, oh, I'm looking for a 5-wave structure and nothing else. It doesn't matter. ABC, 1, 2, 3, 1 to 1, 2, 3. The bias is take out the high. Once that happens, we will see based on the reaction. So we just have to manage according to the reaction. If you're looking for wave 3, well, it needs to fly, high volume, big candles. If this is another wave 1, 2, we're looking for something to end. Well, if this is another 1, it can also be a wave C. Okay, we want it to slow down into resistance, decreasing volume, size of the ranges increasing, and then retrace. After a wave C, we ideally see a motive wave down. After a wave 1, we like a corrective move down. And this can also still be a wave 5, by the way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, and then you get a bigger retracement, which has to be corrective. So yeah, you just manage. And then with the new information, you manage accordingly. And then when eventually you get a new range or a new retracement, you just do the same thing. Is it motive or corrective? Looks like the highest taken did on Coinbase. Binance on spot perps didn't. Okay. Well, if it happened on Coinbase, chances of course are that it will happen on the others as well. Ideally, it's the same. So that's how I would recommend learning Elliott Waves is check the website, check my playlist, go to my Discord as well, because having a community of people to support you in your journey is, I think, very helpful. So you can go to Discord and go here. So analysis and trading. You have the Bitcoin Elliott Wave only chat here, which is active the whole day with lots of different stuff. You have Bitcoin TA, where there's even more activity about all sorts of different types of analysis, right? Also some Elliott Waves, some other stuff like whatever. You have some other channels, and it's a very active group. So, and you can share your charts, get feedback. But yeah. And then give yourself time as well, because Elliott Waves is tricky if you want to know all the ins and the outs. And it will very likely, very, very likely take you longer than a year. So give yourself time. People overestimate what they can do in a short amount of time, but they underestimate what they can do in a long amount of time. Very nice. Okay, so basic. Oh wait, the one thing, Legendario. I'm not sure if you're still here. Legendario was asking for ETH, but guys, then I really have to go. So let me just only check ETH, and then I gotta wrap it up. Oh, I have Discord open and a message. So, Ethereum. I guess I don't know what the time frame. The question maybe the time frame that the person wanted to see, but here we are on a 1 hour time frame. Higher probabilities. This could actually be a flat, by the way. 3, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Because the low isn't taken. The low isn't taken. It would be a regular flat, which means your target must be this high. And then basically with a regular flat, you take out the high and then down you go and you take out the low. So that could be very interesting. The thing is that with Ethereum, this is an 886 touch. So taken from the low to the high, Fibonacci. Low probabilities that this is a wave 2 till proven otherwise. Probabilities would be higher that an 886 touch is a wave B or a wave X, which increases probability of it being corrective. But then this doesn't look like a Y, because this is very much looking like a motive wave. 1, 2, you get to 3, maybe a larger 4, and then eventually a 5 up, take out the high, and then reverse. Looks like a very reasonable approach to Ethereum here. Likely due to Olam Gang pitching it so hard. That's what I said too. Oh, Odin. Well, yeah, in that case, you're absolutely correct, man. Like, this very much looks like a regular flat at the moment. Up, sideways, up, tap, up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But with a regular flat, yeah, we must see this high taken. A regular flat, if B doesn't take out the low of A, then C must take out the high of A. If it doesn't, it must be something else. It can't be a flat. News came, Trump says ceasefire is over. Bad market. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't really follow the news, but as long as they stay away from my hedge shorts, I'm fine with whatever. I mean, also locally, this also on Ethereum looks like a 3. So it's the same as Bitcoin. It can, of course, continue ranging for a bit longer, but I would expect on Ethereum to see this high taken, ideally that high taken. This would then be a wave 4. This would then create a wave 5. And after a wave 5, you always look for a retracement. After a flat, ideally you go down and take the low. That would be nice. And if this is not a wave C, you need a corrective move down. And if it is corrective, I might get too complex now. But if you get a corrective move down, then the flat is a W. For the bears, you get a wave X and then a wave Y. Is ETH last move up structure like trend and turn? Yes, but preferably you go a little bit higher. So when you trade it, you can isolate this impulse itself, and you can see here the beginning, and you can see it slow down. That's perfect, right? So that means you're starting to short in this area. When you start to see this, right, like overlap here, you get the push, and then this is where the overlap comes back. So that is then the interest for shorts, and then price reverses. That's nice. But because from an Elliott Wave point of view, right, you get the retracement, you're in profit, you take a TP1, etc. But this is a 3, so ideally go a little bit higher, but then this would be the 4, and then you create from the low, you basically create this. So you go up one more time, and then that would be wave 5. And after 5, down. So, but the range, it might not be finished. Who knows? It might not be finished. It's not an impulse to the upside here is not invalidated at the moment. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Price so far just retraces to wave 4 of a lower degree. So as long as you keep market structure alive and don't touch the 618, don't go back here. This could still be motive. Weekend is coming though, so okay. Pleasure, Tarun Dut. Pleasure. So everyone, thank you for watching today. We've been live for 2 hours, not too shabby. It's 5 p.m. here. Time for me to go to the shops and have a look at what I'm gonna cook tonight. Not on the charts, but in real life. So thanks for watching. We covered several alts: Hive, Magma, Ethereum, Hype. Then of course we did Bitcoin, Q&A questions. So my Bitcoin analysis was at the beginning of the video, and so that's the biggest portion. I'll make sure to put timestamps in, or at least I put a timestamp in for the Bitcoin analysis, and then when the Q&A starts, and not all the alts probably, but or maybe I do, I don't know. So thanks, and enjoy your weekend. Right? Weekend coming up. So probably the next video will be on Monday, unless there's something urgent I need to talk about because the chart does something that is not expected in our analysis, but usually that's not the case. So thanks for watching. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy watching the World Cup matches as well. I'll be watching, and we can be if you are watching and you want to chat during the World Cup, make sure to go in Discord to the sports channel. Mate, I almost forgot we even have a sports channel. So during the World Cup here, I'll be active in the sports channel as well for the ones that are interested. I completely forgot typing in here. But if you're watching, you want to have a chat, then just join there. So fun times. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next one.